I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. So let me give you kind of a little reset on what the Oilers have now. In this draft, 2025 draft, they don't have a first. They now don't have a second. Mm-hmm. They have a third rounder, no fourth, no fifth, a sixth, and a seventh. So I doubt they're trading that third.
Isn't the third St. Louis's pick?
Correct.
So it's going to be slightly higher. Let's assume it's a non-playoff pick, I guess you can call
it. Next year, they have their first, second, and third, and then they have a fifth, sixth, and seventh. So no fourth. They traded it today. The next year, 2027, they have a first, second, and third. No fourth traded, but a fifth, sixth, and seventh as well. So if you were going to get Alexiak, it might cost you your first-round pick in 2026, but I also think it might only cost you. He might be a similar return to Frederic, where it's like a second and maybe like a third to make the money work. But again,
let's have a look.
So second, third, and maybe a prospect.
Yeah, I would think so. Again, just going back and looking at a bit of the history. Nikita Zadorov last year traded probably one of the first impactful trades of the season.
Yep.
Fourth and a sixth to Vancouver. They took all his cap at $3.7 million.
And the Oilers, again, assuming Kane is out till the end of the season, the Oilers could take Jamie Alexiak's cap hit.
Chris Tanev, obviously a big one.
What did he go for?
So he was 75% retained, with New Jersey actually being the other team along with Calgary. Second round pick, conditional third, and a low-end prospect. They also had to trade a fourth to New Jersey.
Worth noting, both these guys were pure rentals. Jamie Alexiak, one more year on his deal at $4.6 million.
So maybe that increases the fourth.
But he's also not as good as Tanev and Zadorov.
Probably Zadorov is similar.
He doesn't have the upside of Zadorov.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. Other guys, top four defense, Jacob Chikrin, but he had a couple of years left. Philip Hronek. Probably not as good, right? But he was a first and a second, Hronek. And they took all his cap at 4.4
And Philip Hronek was a pending RFA, and Philip Hronek's a legit top pairing defenseman. So I don't think so. He was a first and a second?
First and a second, and he had a year, maybe even two left on his deal.
Yeah, so I think Alexiak might cost you a second, and then maybe if they keep some money, you got to throw in something.
Here's a perfect one.
Okay.
Jake McCabe.
What do you go for?
He was 50% retained.
So down from $4 to $2 million that year.
$4 to $2 million. And I think he still had 2 years left on his deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Have 2 more years. So
they gave a conditional first and a second. They obviously got Sam Lafferty in that deal as well, so maybe that changes things. And then just basically 2 AHL-level players to Chicago.
So they got Lafferty too, and it was a first and a second?
And they also got 2 fifth-round picks in there.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing.
So a second for Alexiak's probably what we're looking at then, now that I'm doing this exercise with you.
Second, third, maybe. It's going to be, well, it just depends on how hot the market is. Mm-hmm. Seattle's GM today, Ron Francis, I think his name is right.
It is.
Not about Alexiak, but did say they'd be willing to trade Brandon Tanev for 50% retained. I know he's obviously not a target the Oilers want, but I think it just gives a good idea of they're clearly open to taking some salary on here to get a couple extra picks.
Seattle has they do not have a retained salary on the books, so they can retain 3 player salaries. The idea that you would get Alexiak knocked down is not crazy.
We could make
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.